Hello everyone, this is Darcy here. If you've seen my haul, you'll know what novel I'm going to review. This is Star Trek Next Generation, Imzai, which is the second hardcover that was published. Um, this is considered one of the best Star Trek novels ever made, and this is considered the best Star Trek The Next Generation novel ever made. I can't comment on that, but does it live up to the praise? Well, I'll tell you when I get to the end of this video. The premise of this book, pretty much, it takes place in the far future. Of course, then it flashes back to the point of. I'm gonna give out. There's not. This is not spoilers, but I'm just gonna give something away. When Diana dies, and it goes forward to back even further when they first met, and then it goes back to the future again. Then the climax takes place at the point when she's, that caused everything to happen. Now, the premise of the story is William Riker is in his mid-70s. He's an admiral, and he's assigned at Starbase 84, and things aren't going that well for him, honestly. Diana has been dead for over 40 years, and the cause of her death is unknown. And as you see throughout this book, he has flashbacks of from her first meeting to her death, and of course before that he meets Lexana, which is her Diana's mother, who blames Riker for her death. Now, I don't want to get too much away, but how is the story? Well, this story is essentially a love story, actually. This is probably the only source that really does it does a great job at fleshing out these characters, because you know in the series that there was something they had in the past, but you don't know to what extent. And this novel actually gets into detail on what that was and how they met and how they got to where they were. Now, at the time this was published, which is a lot of cases for these novels, it would later get contradicted by future episodes of the series. But despite that, how does this stand out as a story? Now, how is it? Well, I think it's really good. I think you could really feel for the characters in this book, and actually made me like Diana a lot more after reading this, because you get to see a side of her you don't really get to see in the series. It actually explores her character in depth and why she is the way she is. Because I never found her that interesting, honestly. Which I'll get to that when I talk about Star Trek The Next Generation, when I review the whole series. Now, Peter David, I think the writing was really good. The characters felt in character, even though William Riker could seem out of character at times. But then again, this is a William Riker in the far future, when he's a bitter old man who's been through a lot of shit. And so it would explain why he's a lot more like his dad at this point. So him being out of character, I don't buy that, especially if you've read the book. I think it does a good job to, writing, him writing the first meeting. And this was one of the last books, if not the last one, to get approved by Gene Roddenberry, because Peter David pitched in the idea of exploring, Will and Diana's relationship, which is something that doesn't get explored really in the show itself. Now, how does this novel stack up? It's really good. I'm really, really good. Honestly, most Star Trek novels, if I had to be honest with you, at least what I've been hearing from Trekkies who read a lot of them, are mediocre at best. Especially, I'm referring to the ones that were released in the in the 90s, not the ones that are released now, which are much better. Even though parts of the story could fit in the series, there's parts of it that can't. But should that stop you from reading it? Of course not. I think Imzai is a good story, even though there's maybe some minor contradictions. And even though it's some really good fan fiction, it's not fan fiction, but it can't. But considering I don't think it really fits in the canon of Star Trek, at least the whole book, there's parts of it that do. I would give this a classic rating. I think this is a really good book. I think if you're a fan of these characters, William Riker and Diana Troy, I think you would appreciate this because this fleshes out their characters. And especially if you're a fan of the relationship between the characters, I think this is the novel for you. It's not that hard to find. Of course, as usual, I get the hardcovers for these. So yeah, I really love this book, and it didn't take me that long to finish it. That's how much I loved it. And this is probably my favorite Star Trek novel I've read so far in the entire Star Trek expanded universe. And yes, so here's that. This is Darcenovia here. Next time, we'll be touching on the Legacies trilogy. I may end up reviewing these individually or maybe reviewing the whole thing. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, have a good day, everyone, and may we live long and prosper. Thank you.